just starting. So we're going to start by, well, we got some material to use for the garden. So, and we're going to be smacking some more steel today. Apologize for being a little bit late for the live stream. Try to do it towards the house. Not like last time. I'm going to have it this and hissing. Oh, yeah. Alright. That's the stuff to bring in the house. Working on the suit of armor. So this is actually left in the rain element, which is fine. This stuff needs to be shined up anyways. So this is the front plate. Front plate I'm going to consider mostly done to my liking for the first pass. We're going to be working on the first pass of the other back plate over here, because that needs to be done and ready to go for the next suit. I want to get all this done before the next next spider practice. So like last time, we're going to start with the actual main plate, placard plate, and then work on the folds next. The folds are going to be next. We'll set those aside. Take all the tape off, because we don't need any of this duct tape right now. This project's probably going to take us another week or so to get fully finished. But the next spider practice is Sunday, so my goal is to get it done before this Sunday. I'm going to film a lot, as much as I can. I'm going to film as much as I can. I got to stop saying, there's a game playing Sunday. It's pretty fun. Where is the mallet? One second while I be back. Stay there, Spencer. Back up. Back up. Well, for some reason I can't find my main hammer. I'm trying to think where I put that silly thing. If you guys are just watching, I'm on the quest to find my hammer. The importance of putting things back up. I keep forgetting to do all that nonsense. Whatever. I got a little 5-ounce hammer. This is gonna have to do for today. I got this. We're gonna be cleaning up the edges on the front placard. For now, we're just gonna get that little bevel piece. The what do they call it? Oh, they gave it a name. I hate that when you get older, you forget things. Anyways, a lip. That's what it is. It's a lip. So this is gonna be interesting with the 5-ounce hammer, but we can still do it. So this can still move things around as needed. So just not ideal. Ah. And like last time, I'm going to start on the edge here. We work back and forth. Duct tape. Let me get rid of that. See, you guys are saying, if you guys are saying anything at all, what up? I meant gray. Please, 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 what? What's up? Hey, hey, hey. Just working on the suit of armor, and like, you know, I'm here every Monday. Just trying to keep this live stream going. Let me see all messages. Give me a shout. Gray. What's up, Gray? Couldn't find my main hammer. I could have sworn I left it out here somewhere. I went looking for it. Couldn't find it in the last stream. It's probably in the house somewhere, I imagine. I was like, so this is going to take a little bit. It's going to be an interesting trip. So I got a little 5-ounce hammer. So this still should do the job. I've made my entire suit off of this hammer, not the bigger hammer. So, not ideal, but we don't let a little thing like a hammer stop us. You guys saying, yeah. But like last time, we're working out this lip. It's be about a 30-degree angle. I could cheat, and the one thing I did is I used this hammer. This has a little claw on the back like this. I could cheat a little bit and bend out the steel this way. But where's the fun in that, right? So, and it's not a clean edge like I want, like on the other suit. And like last time, we just work back and forth, and we make a crease, a line down the area we want. And we hit in the void and not on the steel itself, because we're trying to bend the steel, not plenish it. If you're wanting to clean up any bumps or anything like that, then you start hitting this on the actual anvil. Otherwise, you kind of hit it out here in the void to bend that steel where you want. If you guys are saying anything at all. I am making a placard. This is for my suit of armor. If you look at my channel, this is to protect the waist area. I already did the front on the last live stream. I'm working on the back. So this is the back half. Basically, you know, I'll show you what it looks like fully encased. And we're doing this without any straps or anything like that. So it's basically a metal band that goes around my entire waist area over the breastplate, the chest plate. See how that works there? That rests right about there. This is for heavy suit combat. So we're just going through and we're doing initial passes to shape the steel to where we want it. And then we're going to be working on final touches, which is cleaning up the edges, drilling the holes where we need to, and then fastening it to the main chest plate, which is going to be basically a front strap. Oh, this is the back, but it's a strap that goes from chest plate to here, and it allows me to attach this not permanently, but you suit it up like I'll show you. So when I go to suit this up, the placard would already be assembled, and I'd place it on the ground. I'd step in the middle of it, and then like a skirt, bring it up to where I need it to be, and then fasten it. And do the same thing to the back, and then that'll be attached to, this will be all part of the harness. So that's to protect this area, because I get hit here a lot. We actually had a fighter last practice go to the hospital. He got hospitalized because he got hit in the side pretty hard, and a hematoid, I think it's called. It's a bruise of some sort. He had internal bleeding. Or not internal bleeding, but bleeding between the skin and the muscle. So I don't feel bad armoring myself up to the high heavens no more. In fact, let me move my cart so you guys can see that this is the Medieval Ye Olde channel. So. Ye Olde Crusader Medieval channel. I need to get that bottom portion fixed. But you get the idea. Hopefully that answers your question what we're building. They do have SCA chapters in Australia. And I believe you guys have a YouTuber in Australia. What's his name? Shadowverse. He's your Australian medieval dude. I'm more of the American redneck one. As you can see, that lip is starting to come together right there. Ever so slightly. We just keep working in that material back and forth, back and forth. A rocket? No. We're making a suit of armor. This is the placard to the suit of armor. If you check out my channel, I have an entire suit that I built myself for heavy suit combat. I wish it was a rocket. But that's Elon Musk territory. I'm not a rocket man. You can see that there? So it's coming together real nicely. We're trying to match the same lip or bevel as the other one. And it's getting there. Shaping it ever so. It's like sculpting clay. If you guys ever worked with clay, just a little more. You have to use a hammer to push your material around. Dog, where you at? I gotta check out what's going on. These dogs are interested in something. I think it's my neighbor. Yeah. Just my neighbors working on their lawn. So I can kind of show you what I'm doing. Striking the edge there. I'm just going back and forth. You guys can get a better look at that. My neighbors hate me. No, they're kind of far apart. No, they're working on their lawn across the street. If anyone hates anyone, it's probably me hating them because they're a loud lawnmower. No, I don't care. Our neighbors are pretty chill, so as long as we're not doing anything crazy. I had to check and see what was going on because the dogs were pretty interested in what was going on over there. So I was like, hey, what's going on over there? So I'm going to clean up this edge over here at the top. We're going to plenish this. Basically, we're going to strike this onto the steel now. We need all the high spots, little crease area. coming together real nicely. A few more areas I have to get so it looks a little nicer. But there you go, we don't have to use a nice big hammer to get the curve we want. So that looks more or less what the other curve is on the other one. So that's the back plate here. And I'll take the folds off this one. This is held together by duct tape. Colt Wagner, like the what is that? Mercenary group, Wagner. Sick name, by the way. Like you're named after a pistol and the military group. So on this one, we got to do another, like, let me get this together. So these are the folds on the front plate. As you can see there, we did a rolled edge on the first one. There's a few areas I want to clean up. And we can do that on the next pass, but this pass we're just going to be doing the back plate. So set those aside. That's kind of what we're going to be doing on the back plate. We have these labeled properly. There's the front. There's the back. So this is about where I want it. It's just a slight curvature. That's it. That's all we need. So the rest of the time we're going to be spending on getting these folds cleaned up and shaped correctly. As you can see, they're kind of like misaligned and all those other things. And then the bottom fold, which is going to be the biggest one, we're going to roll the edge on that one. So because wherever the edge meets, like where your legs would be, you want there to be a rounded edge so it doesn't cut you up as we're moving. So we're going to work on the folds now. Do some planishing work. Every day is a gift from God. Like I remember when I had cancer, I couldn't do any of this stuff. So I'm just blessed to be able to do this type of content for you guys. Even if it isn't the best content in the world, it's my content that I can share with the world. Anyone who likes medieval stuff or is into like backyard blacksmithing, making things, making pieces of art. That's kind of what we're doing here. We're just kind of hitting the high spots. There'll be bends that you don't want, ugly bends. We're hitting and knocking those down. I'm just shaping it like a piece of clay. And then we're striking on the surface slightly to bend it. So we're using the curvature of the anvil to bend it. Ever so slightly. You hear that nice dung 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 dung. That's how you know you're making some gains on that. And that looks a little bit nicer than what it was before. So we're going to flip it on this end, and we're going to do the same thing, make another pass. And you see it's a lot more curved in the shape we want. We're just doing planishing where we're striking the steel, letting the hammer do all the work. We're not forcing our hand into it. already looking nicer on that finish there. We still got some high spots we got to address there, you can see. So we'll just work those back and forth like a piece of clay until it's smooth like we want. And you're just going back and forth on the surface, and you're just kind of looking at spots you can address and hammering them out as you see fit. And I want my armor to be like a more organic look than like a hyper asymmetrical masterwork piece, because the rest of my suit's built this way, or organic feel. And this is my first suit, which is the training suit, so I don't want to put the art of the suit as the forefront. I want to put that we put this together as a modern individual with the tools available to us to make a suit of armor that is functional and both pleasant to look at, pleasant enough to look at. And when we're done with all the steel and the shaping of the steel, we're going to be coating this in paint, modern day acrylic paint or coats of paint. We'll do like a white base coat like I did with the rest of my suit, and then we'll do a top layer, and that will protect most of the steel from wear and tear. Along with, I also have to hand paint some other decorations on this suit of armor. Burp. Building a suit of armor. So if you look at my channel, this is a placard, is what they call it. We already did the front. We're working on the back currently. So we're just shaping the steel and then shaping it to myself. So this is a band of steel, and it still needs to be shaped, obviously. I haven't shaped it to one another yet. So this is what currently we're working on. We're doing our first passes on shaping and cleaning up the steel. Next couple passes we'll be doing fit and finish. So I made this a little bit bigger than me because I actually have padding as well underneath the gambeson. So we can always cut and adjust as needed. So you can see, this is the band of steel. And then we have the folds, these things that we're working on. These are attached. When all said and done, they'll be attached this way. There's a couple pictures and videos of me wearing this test fitted out. And I may do a test fit once I fully shape the front and back. I'll tape it all together and we'll do a full test fit. Does that answer your question? And right now I'm just doing plenishing work, shaping, and making pretty. You'll see the final piece of work on the next combat video that I put up for next week. And we can shape steel by hand as well, so you can do a little bit of work with that. That's what I kind of love about steel. It works almost like a very dangerous clay. So this is the back fold. So we're fixing this to here. So Make sure we line everything up. And then we just kind of work that back and forth until we get the general shape of what we're doing. And we just kind of manipulate and bend the steel where we want it. Then notice with the other one, the top plate was bent in such a, not a weird way, but just kind of like, I don't know, fanned out way, kind of how we did the bend there. Kind of how they do the same thing with the first fold. And then what happens is it tapers off because you want the metal to flow with your hips and come down. So it kind of goes outwards and then comes down. I don't know what shape that's called. Does that make sense? All right, that's fold number one. And I'll give you guys a look at what it's going to look like when we've got it all shaped correctly. So you guys get a better look of what the end goal is going to be somewhat. We just got to clean up our edges, our lines, roll the edges. So that's what's going to be happening with the back plate. The front is already like that. So we're just mirroring the back to the front. We got to roll the edges. And what a rolled edge looks like, if you guys are not familiar, is that. If you guys can see that. So the rolled edge prevents cutting of the steel into one's material, or you know, skin, flesh, or whatever have you, right? So I can put my whole hand down that entire line there, and that prevents the edge from cutting, because that's where the danger comes from, is this edge right here. And also looks a little more finished with the rolled edge. So that's primarily what we're doing. Is that in the right shot? It is. Those are over there. We're going to work on the middle fold now. This is where we're starting. See how it's kind of rough, hand bent. We're going to hit a lot of these spaces here and get these high spots down. My words elude me. Fix any weird bends as well, and kind of fix up the steel and make it look a lot more finished than where it is now currently. You kind of just hit the high spots. It's kind of like working a piece of clay. Yes, I know if anyone's doing, like, is a blacksmith, I know I'm digging into the steel. That's fine. I'm going for a hammered look. You can always come back with a plenishing hammer and plenish the steel. You let the hammer do all the work. Alright, we'll go on this end, and we'll do the same thing. Any high spots we see. See that? Looks a lot nicer than where it was just a few seconds ago. Burp. All right. Okay, it's a much nicer looking surface than where it was. We'll just kind of go back and forth with our hand and bend slightly where we want. And then we'll put that on the placard back there that we got. And then we're just going to keep going back and forth and shaping this thing until we got the desired result we want. Which is that tapered look I was talking about. It's low to your hips. That was the dough. 100% the dough. Back and forth these plates. And you're kind of like molding it like a piece of clay to where they fit properly. Again, ugly piece of steel. We're going to normalize that and make it a lot better. We're probably going to roll this one. This is the last one we're working on. See if anyone said anything. Bro's packing. If you guys like medieval content, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is a Christian medieval content channel where we focus on basically hard suit combat. Not so much the historian portion, more of a sport than anything else. Because I can't, it's hard for me to role play. Some people can do it, I can't, so. I'm approaching this SCA as a sport rather than a chance to role play. That's a great thing about a 5-ounce hammer. You can go all day with this thing. Whereas that other hammer I was using, it wears you out, but it moves a lot of material. So it's kind of a balance between longevity and moving material. That's probably how you describe it. So the more material you want to move, the more strength it's going to take and more stamina you're going to use. That's stamina. Balance between stamina and moving material. That's what I want to say. We're just going back and forth on the steel. Applying strikes where we need it. There's still a little bit more work to do for sure. I think I'm going to start on rolling the edges though, and I have an idea where I want to roll it. I want to roll on this side because this side looks a lot more clean than the other. Let me move the camera so I can see y'all. And then later in the live stream, I'll probably bring out the rest of the suit of armor if you guys want to see the full suit and all its glory. It takes me about 10 minutes to get fully suited up. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know. All right. I think you guys can see it from there. Oh, that looks way not level. Let me see. Not a little more level for you guys? Awesome. So to roll an edge, I'm going to face this towards you guys. Similar process to what we did there to make a lip, except you're going further. You're going 90 degrees. And then from there, you're going past that to roll it like a burrito. So I gotta make sure I choose the edge wisely. And it was this edge we're gonna do. So we're gonna start here and move all the way around up and go back and forth until we get a 90-degree lip. And then we start hammering on the edge to bend it over. That's where the interesting part comes. So, see there? And you strike on the edge, not the steel. So you don't want to pinch the steel. You want to bend it. So I'm striking on the edge. And what you're doing is you're watching the crease in the metal as your guideline, rather than trying to memorize where this is at. When you strike, then you can kind of see, oh, the edge is this way, it's veering off to the right or left. I need to adjust my angle of attack, or I need to push it out more, whatever, because you can always reshape the steel as needed. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Where you get the one-offs is when you cut steel. When you cut steel, you only get one chance at that. So, or you drill it, one chance at that, unless you have a welder. You just kind of go back and forth, like I talked about. Striking the edge to bend the steel where you want it. And you hear that nice tung 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 noise. That noise is what you want to hear when you're actually doing something to the metal and bending it. At least when you're working at 18 gauge steel. Again, I'm just striking the edge. Hear that nice tung 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 tung. Eventually, once you get to that 90-degree angle, you start hitting on here. I'm building a suit of armor, working on a mold. We're rolling the steel over. So this is a placard, goes right here, protects the waist. So I'm rolling the edges. I'll show you a finished, or not near finished one, where I rolled the edges. So we're doing that. We're rolling the edges on the other side. This is the front plate. Now we're working on the back plate. There's 3 folds on each side, and that basically goes from my hip area here down to here. So in my suit of armor, I'm covered from head to toe, except for my middle section, which I'm addressing right now with making of the placard. So this will go on like a skirt basically, and then attach to the chest plate, and that'll protect this section here. Because I already have arms, legs, gorget, helm, gauntlets. In fact, let me go get a pair of gauntlets so you guys, anyone else asks what we're doing. It's like, we're making armor, medieval armor. Be right back. That's right, attack! Eat him! So, pair of gauntlets. Take the tape off though, whatever. This is my current helm. This is for heavy suit combat. We use rattan weaponry to beat each other up. You can get injured, so I'm making sure I'm fully armored and do not get injured on the field like some of my compatriots. This is about 20 pounds of steel. It's a 14 gauge top, 16 gauge side, and a 1/4 inch steel front right there. And the front plate eventually is going to be button press attached, but currently it's just strap. It's a strapping system for the helm. Hold on 1 second. You can see the chin strap is leather, and what the strap does is prevent that from hitting my face when we get hit in the face with the weapons. See the step system right there. We're going to be replacing that eventually. I just got to get spring steel. And now I'm fully have my helmet on. So I guess I could try to do this like this. So if anyone asks, what are you doing? I'm building armor. Does that answer your question? Hold on, I can't see without my glasses. Let me get a little closer. Oh, we use just 18 gauge mild steel. Nothing crazy. Because in the SCA, the requirements for armor protection is just rigid material. Some guys go out there with boiled leather armor. They go out there with plastic Kydex barrel armor. They go out there with any manner of rigid material you could think of. So there's no hard requirements like there is in boot hurt, which is certain hardened steel or certain requirements. They just require rigid material, and I went with 18 gauge steel because that's historically what knights would use, is 18 gauge steel, because you're trading off weight and protection. And they would use mild steel because hardened steel costs more, so it depends on your level of wealth, just like in modern times, what you could afford. Making a hardened suit of armor is outside my budget range. If you go on my channel, I actually have a video footage of my armor. I have photographs of the armor I have now. I'm just adding more steel to the armor because I've lost so much weight, lost over 100 pounds since I started the SCA, that I need to add more weight because it's a training suit. It's not really meant to win. I'm not going out there to win all the fights. If I was out there to win all the fights, I'd go to the bare minimums and the metas, which is 7.5 foot long weapons with a striking surface, light as possible, 1.25 inch. Not doing all that. I'm going out there to train. My weapons are double the weight, which is what the Romans did back in the day. They'd go in the double the weight of weapons. They'd train and fight with that in practice. So when they went on the field and do service weapons, it was nothing. They could fight all day long. So that's kind of the mindset I have approached with the SCA and my entire hard suit combat, is I'm going to double the weight of everything. And then when I go transition over to actually wanting to participate in tournaments and winning, I'll be ready for that. Does that make sense, what I'm doing? Besides, I'm a very artistic person, so I like working with artistic material, and just getting a motorcycle kit, slapping it on, putting a tunic on, doesn't really scream I'm an artist and I'm making something. Yes, awesome, sweet. So yeah, we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. The YouTube channel is also an endeavor to, because as a family man, everything I do has to at some point generate money, or else it's not worth doing. But I like this hobby so much, I was like, how can I possibly monetize the SCA or Hard Suit Combat? What do most people do? They make a show out of it. So I've been working on building a YouTube channel that I had for over 15 years. And this channel specifically, if you go back in time, was basically not resume building, a portfolio for my work. So when I applied for programming jobs or game development jobs, I'd have a portfolio. But I've kept this channel since 2009, and I've transitioned over to medieval content because, you know, I had a channel, it's named Liberty Knight. I was like, why not make it actually about medieval things? My uncle did initially. So when I was about 13, he brought me to the Australia War out west in Arizona. I saw the giant battlefield, the siege equipment, people actually fighting rather than play fighting. Because I've seen reenactors, and that doesn't interest me too much because there's no stakes in the game. It's just a reenactment. You're acting out a battle. You're not actually fighting a battle, whereas the SCA is more, you're simulating medieval combat, simulating battles, more akin to paintball. This sport, if I were to describe it, medieval paintball, basically. So it's about a journey since I was 13. I did it for about 3 years, from 13 to around when I got married the first time, 19. Gave it up, and then I just restarted back in the SCA in 2023. That's when this channel was redirected to all this content. Hopefully that was a full context overview of your question there. Hopefully that answered in full. What I like about it though, since I have a kind of chaotic mind, and I like to do many projects and many different things, I can work on metalworking, I can work on woodworking here. I'm still a novice, very novice at woodworking. Painting, because if you look at my suit of armor, I learned how to paint, make that. Working on a tent series, so that's going to be woodworking and working on sewing. So there's a lot of skills you pick up. So I think it's fun in that regard. You can do many different things, not just beholden to one thing and one thing only. I got into silversmithing. That's a lot of fun. Like, I'll have to do a video of that where I'm minting coins. I'm working on a medieval coin series right now. Currently, it's in the state of generating the coin, the capital necessary to go to the next phase. If you're wondering what the coin series is about, that's what it's about. Because everything I do, I try to have an end goal in mind, or point to it, or if I'm learning a skill or experimenting with something, you'll see that in the channel as well. I'll be experimenting with something, dabbling in it, tinkering, for an end goal in mind, wherever that may be, either career or I'm just learning a new skill set. This is to build up my current company, which deals in precious metals and medieval stuff. Makes perfect logical sense to go hand in hand with that. But some of the people are talking about doing an Etsy and selling merch on that, so I haven't quite decided on how to do that, how to approach that. I saw, what was it, the Russians, they had, well, they were inspired by 40K to make, what was it, Bible verses on pieces of paper adorned with wax seals, or fake wax seals, onto their armor. I'm thinking I can do something similar on like a sheet of steel that you can hang up on your wall. That's an idea I had. And I think it's Psalms 92, or I'll have to look at it. I can get some of my weapons if you want to see what we hit each other with. It's actually quite brutal. I'll show you what we're doing here. See that? It's going back and forth on that piece of steel. Oh yeah. Here, let me go get a weapon. Now they're not steel weapons, they're weapon simulants. So they're rattan, which is wood, and rubber and duct tape. So, but they do hurt and injure. One of our guys actually, he took a blow to the side right here, hard enough to cause a hematoma, and he got sent to the ER. It looked like a blood sausage on his side. Looked pretty rough. Alright. So I'll show the shield. This is a 3/4 inch ply shield with rubber hosing. That's primarily the shield we use. The steel cage on the inside to protect our, sure you can see that. Steel cage on the inside, and that protects your hand from getting broken. This is a pole axe. This is made of rattan. See, it is just wood. And this is overly sized. They usually go 1.25 inches. I went with 1.5 inch, heavy weapon. This is my breastplate. I do have a gambeson and chainmail that goes with it. But this is the chest protector, and the other stuff we're making is the thigh protection up here. So a lot of what I'm doing, right, is keeping them at distance. Or if I want to close the distance, choke up here, right, because I can fight in A range, bring down the hammer on them. But most of the time, I'm over here, right? You know, hooking, smashing, I'm fighting another pole arm, I'm gonna be like this to catch their weapon, offline it, then strike at them. So, and there's a video of where I smash a watermelon with one of these things, and it kind of shows you what this can do against a human skull. That's a simulant that most people use as watermelons. I'm gonna have to get one of those ballistic gel dummies to see what kind of damage this thing can do. I know it's a lot. So does that kind of give you more visual of what we do? Ooh, spicy. All right. Whew. If you guys like the channel, go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000. I think we're 27 away from goal. So we just need to get to 27 more people. We're at 1,000. Then you guys get to see me march, hike in full kit with all this gear. I already did 3/4 kit on the 500 thank you video, and the 1,000 subscriber video is probably gonna take everything out of me just to do that for you guys. That's gonna be quite the challenge. I'm gonna attempt either the same trail or a different trail. So we'll have to discuss it with my partners. I may even do it like a whole camping journey. If you like camping, you'll love this stuff as well. So a lot of them build their own tents, go out camping. So if you enjoy the woods, camping, hunting, they do all of it. And the link is in the description of our shire that I'm a part of. So if you guys want to check those guys out, they actually have the events. So if you're in northern Alabama, you can see when their events are, where they're, what upcoming thing they have publicly they have facing for you guys. They're always looking for new members. I'm always looking for new members for the order because it's just me currently, but I'm sure that in time that will change. In case you've missed it, this is a Christian medieval channel. I don't like to, what's the word, lie or have a false facade of what I am. I want people that are genuinely interested in medieval Christian theology and building something, building an order, all that stuff. Or just generally interested in sports, combat sports and exercising. So when it warms up a bit, I'll be doing more exercise videos. Currently it's raining a lot and some other things, so I guess I could be exercising right now. Yeah, it's probably a bad excuse. That's a hard, old habits die hard, guys. But we are running every day, so you know I'm doing DoorDash. I'm self-employed, so do DoorDash to make my primary income source. Programmer as well, so I'm always doing odd jobs here and there, but primarily just doing deliveries. So I was in the programming industry for over 12 years. I just got tired of making vaporware essentially and having nothing to show for it at the end of the day. Now with building stuff, I actually have something physical that I can hold on to and show and make recordings. I can mint more coins, whereas digitally it's easy come, easy go, and as soon as you get let go or fired, you don't have access to that beautiful artwork you did. So, and some programmers don't get it, like what programming is and isn't, right? Combination of art and science and building something, building an end product for users to enjoy. they see it more as typist or a machine way of looking at things, and that's so hard to fight, that mindset. That's why I kind of primarily got into the game industry for a while, because it kind of combines all that art, science, psychology, all the major sciences, philosophy, you name it. That's why I kind of like the gaming industry that regard. But as far as job security, Zippo. And it's the same thing, vaporware. Oh, cool, he works in the game that no one plays anymore. Fantastic. You got mouths to feed. You know, those orcs and elves stop mattering less and less. At least with this, I can take it, and I can go learn welding or some other skill, or working at a body shop if I wanted to. I don't want to work for another person ever again. I want to work only for myself, between me and God, to work and make money, because I don't work well being a employee. I'm not employee material. I tried over 12 years to be a model employee, only to be let go because office politics or what have you. So I just got tired of the rat race. Whereas being a business owner, I can be out here on a Monday afternoon smashing metal and building an empire, slowly but surely building something. And that's to me is much better. I liked what Mark Cuban said. He'd rather make $50,000 and be self-employed than ever work for someone at $100,000, $200,000, and that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of where I'm at in my life. And there's a lot of people that I know they worked at Meta and they worked at all those other places. They don't have jobs anymore either. So it's just a travesty. And with AI coming on the field, there's even more reason to start switching to more analog system, make art. It's kind of what humans accelerate, is making art. AI can mimic art. It can make stuff, but it can't make anything really good and new. Especially with everyone using AI art, because it trains itself off AI art and looks worse and worse and worse as time goes on. So that's a self-correcting error, I imagine. But it is an interesting tool to employ. If you see it as a tool, it can be very helpful in prototyping. And you can see we're getting closer to that 90-degree angle. If you watched the last video, that also, getting to this part, took a long time as well. But as you can see, we're getting there slowly but surely. We're getting there. In fact, that's probably a nicer edge or crease than the other one we had. Look at that. It's going back and forth, and you strike the edge, you bend, you bend, you bend. There's that area right there we got to address. You can see it's not as deep as the other ones. So we're going to focus on that area, kind of work the area of concern. Look at that. Oh, I don't think I showed you what the placard goes if you guys haven't seen it already. So, placard basically goes over there like that, and the folds come down this way. So, and that meets up with the leg armor, or all the leg harness I have down below. It meets up with that, And it's a one continuous suit. Won't be the prettiest suit on God's green earth, but it will be my suit. What's that saying? There are many like it, but this one is mine. That has to do with rifles. This is the part that takes the longest time. You ever do armoring or working on armor is rolling the edges. They do have some tools that can kind of do it for you. I think I'm almost at a point I can start hammering. I'm going to try, because you get to a point where you can hammer on the edge, anvil to here, and we'll start rolling it. I'm there. I'm in. Oh, thank God. That saves up a lot of room to do things. And what you're watching for when you're hitting steel is kind of the waves. You kind of go based off the shadow and the shape and the material, and you're just going back and forth like a piece of clay, going back and forth to get your desired result. You can see there, the 90-degree curvature there. We gotta go all the way down, all the way back. Oop. And you'll kind of feel it too when you're making actual gains on it. You're striking the edge. And you see that shine as you're working through material. You're just basically watching for slight movements, and you're just slowly inching where you want to go. See that? Look at that. See? What you don't want to do is overwork one spot because it'll fold like a weird taco. And that is hard to fix. You're targeting the edge. Always hit the edge. Oh, there's a spot I did not quite bend. And you want to try to force a bend. Okay, another flat spot. Just kind of want to go over past the line here when you try to force the bend, not force the bend, but make the bend happen. I cold shape. I do have a forge, but this is mild steel, so you're not going to temper it. So cold rolling is probably the best on mild steel. So there's no point to even temper it. You can if you want to go for a really nice look. I cold smash everything. That I don't have the setup currently. I don't have my forge. It's at my friend's house, so. And we're going for speed, because if you notice, this suit is built hastily because it's a training suit. It is not meant to look the prettiest or sell to the masses. This is to get on the field. So I'm going for, if I knew today that next week or 2 weeks from now I was going to go fight in a actual medieval battle and my life depended on it, what could I manufacture in that amount of time, and what would that look like? That's kind of the premise of this entire suit. Given the tools I have on hand. This is 18 gauge mild steel, so it's extremely easy to bend. If I wanted to, I could bend it by hand. So it's not necessary to heat it up. The reason they heat up material usually, if you ever work with blades or anything like that, is because there's a lot of material that you need to move, and it's far easier to just heat it up and push it around where you need it than it would be to cold steel bang it, right? That's why the anvil is so big, right? This is mild steel. But I'm not moving that anytime soon just by hitting it. Does that make sense? Nice. Yeah, good, awesome. Making blades before you know it. But yeah, you can make armor by doing what you're talking about. It makes things a little easier, but also it doesn't, because you have to do the time to heat it up, bang it. So it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're going for a finished product, possibly using the blowtorch and moving material. See, if you ever look at other armorers, they have a Oxley and Sinley torch, and they do just an area, and they hammer that around and get it into a real nice shape. They don't really heat up the whole piece because it's a little, I mean, this is a pretty large piece. So you don't see a lot of people with those kind of forges, those large forges like that. So it's more directed heat where you want to start pounding. So, but everything I do is cold pounding. And if you haven't already, go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. I think last I checked, we're at 971, 973. So, and this is a medieval Christian content channel. So, obviously, the Crusader persona. I'm gonna have to come in here and deburr it at some point. At least get that little sharp piece out. I see what she said. And yeah, I love working with heat. I currently do silversmithing, and I do that when I heat the material and I pour it into molds. It's a lot of fun working with forges. We could that bend over just a tad bit more. And what sucks, I can't find my other hammer I had. I had a bigger hammer and I misplaced it somewhere. Yeah. And I'm working through learning the skill myself. So it may not come out the way you want it, but that's fine. It's kind of rolling with the punches and doing what you need to do. So you can see that rolled edge is starting to take a real shape. And I'm using a 5-ounce hammer. I had a bigger hammer to move material faster, but when I want to do finer work, I use a smaller hammer. It works just the same. So I got the 90-degree angle. I'm going back and forth on the steel. And it won't be the prettiest rolled edge. If you want pretty edges, my friend Aaron, he makes some pretty awesome edges. I'm just listening for that sound. I'm sure you can hear it. That's the sound of success. That's the sound of I missed. Here we're at on the roll. So as you can see, it's starting to get more shape. There's a few areas I gotta get, because you gotta uniformly roll this over. Eventually it's gonna roll like a rolled taco. So, because I'm working on making better rolled edges, because when I first started, they're still pretty rough. But, you know, it keeps a lot of the material from cutting into you. And I still got some areas, like when I'm going up a convex shape, is rolling the edge up a convex shape is somewhat difficult. So learning how to do that. I'm going to take a break though. I'm getting there. This is what took so long last time in the last video. It took over, I think, almost 2 hours to get this rolled edge. That's usually what takes the longest. And then from there, shaping the other middle plates is a little easier than forming that bottom one. Then I got to form the tassets. That's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, look at that. Just walking around and exploring backyard. Look what I found. Me hammer. So, I'm glad I found that. Ooh, taking a break. That is a ton of work. Glad I didn't work with using this hammer here. But now this is going to be overkill on that, but maybe I might be able to move more material with that rolled edge there. The thing you don't want to do is overdo it and fold that edge rather than roll the edge. Actually, probably at some point you get a blacksmithing hammer, which is, I just have a ping hammer, or a ball ping hammer. So, So what are you working on in your forge? Anything cool or planning on to? Are you working on knives or something? Dogs. Ugh. If you're new to the channel, this is Heavy Suit Armored Combat, working on armor currently, like building the templates, or not templates, building out the placard for it. I got the templates made, cut out the steel, and right now we're at the part where we're rolling the bottom edge of the fold on the back plate. From there is shaping all the plates together. We're gonna start by doing the front plates first, getting that to shape to go in line with the chest plate, so it all works in conjunction together, because you want to always test fit the new pieces that you add to your suit. Because what you don't want is a bulky piece of metal on a suit. Yeah. I'll have to show you my blade I worked on. I used a grinder to get the shape. Though I want to do a forged blade, do the entire shape. I got spring steel. I don't know what kind it is, A20 or whatever the steel is. I'll have to find that blade, but I used my grinder and I cut out the original shape. It is a Bowie knife, or what are those blades? The American knives. I'm trying to think of the darn name of it. But anyways, that's the knife blade I went with. Hey, Italy, you guys have some pretty sick armor and pizza. I love it. And there might be an SCA group out in Italy as well. I'll have to look. But you have Rome. I am so jealous of you guys. You guys get to see history. You guys get to see the Colosseum. You guys get to see Roman architecture. So I'm a bit jealous of you Italians in that regard. Sicily, you get to go visit Sicily. You went to the Mediterranean Sea, Venice, right? A lot of history there. The Alps, right? Where Hannibal marched over that. It's pretty awesome stuff. Nice. Right? No, you should see the Italian style armor. They came up with some pretty cool, sick designs. They also did heavy cavalry during the Renaissance period. I know they've had a battle with the Huns. Unfortunately, this is the documentary I saw. That particular battle they lost because the Huns had light cavalry, and what they did is they waited until the Italian army made camp and rested for the night, and then assaulted them during the night and set fire to the camps. So, because they could outpace the heavy cataphract. The heavy cataphracts, the heavy cavalry that they had at the time. I guess there were city-states back then. I don't know if they operate that way now. I know there's like here in Alabama, there's like the different cities and teams and whatnot. I'm sure it's a lot more crazy out there. Well, let me get a pole arm. I don't know if you saw the pole armor. I don't know if you were in the live stream earlier. I'll get my pole axe. This is my weapon of war that I beat people with. 6 foot long, made of hard rattan, or rattan, not hardened rattan. Hardened rattan, fire hardening wood, I believe this is not a big no-no in the SCA. But it's a rubberized, vulcanized head, and they actually told me I need to add more of a painful striking surface because it was too soft. I was trying to make it both SCA legal compliant and friendly to my counterparts at the practice events, but they said it felt like getting hit with a pillow, a large pillow. So like, okay, they suggested I added bits of leather. I have since done that. There's bits of leather underneath the duct tape here. They also suggested I add this rattan material and make this a clacker, like a thin strip of rattan. So when it strikes them, it makes that noise that you hear in the videos, the people getting struck. I'm going to do that on both ends, and that should make this weapon very spicy indeed. So my other weapon is a Becta Corban. It's a rubberized, it's basically a rubber mallet on a 6 foot long pole. So I've been training for over 1.5 years now with this stuff. You guys can see my workout videos. I train in the suit of armor. Currently we have 55 pounds of gear. We're adding about an additional 10 pounds of gear with that placard. I'm going to have to weigh it. I don't know. I'm estimating about 10 pounds of armor, between 5 and 10 pounds, just with that. Based on the other pieces of armor I have. Eventually I'm going to be working on a chainmail hauberk, which is the undershirt, just to complete the ensemble. I'm going to work on the helmet. I'm going to remove that leather strap you have on there. I'll get that piece. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I had it initially as a back neck protector, but since fighting with it, it's become an irritant, both stylish and it holding like a big plane in the wind, like that. That's what I'm talking about. It does that a lot. So I'm going to be removing this leather backing here, backing material. I'm going to be adding chainmail to the entire thing. Compete, not in competition mode, in training mode currently. So I'm losing weight, lost 100 pounds so far in the SCA. If I want to compete, there is a meta that you have to sort of play in the sport, which is lighter weight, faster speed, longer distance, keeping your opponents at distance. So it'd be basically what most people in tournaments do. They go bare minimum armor, light as possible. They go with the longest reaching weapons, 7.5 foot long weapons. Mine are not that. Mine are historically length weapons. So the pole axe has to be no taller than the actual user, or a little bit taller. Maybe you can go a foot taller than the user, because you're using this weapon close range like this. You can choke up on it. You can swing out if you want to. You can use it as a pole arm. It's a versatile night weapon. Someone that's encased in full armor. It's not a dedicated spear, it's not a dedicated axe, and it's not a dedicated mallet. It's a all-rounder weapon. Has a spike in both ends, and it's used to puncture other knights' armor. And that's the role that the poleaxe would play in the battlefield. But since you're so heavily armored, you can kill opponents. There's a video, I'm going to have to share this video. They show what a knight in similar armor to myself, fighting about 4 or 5 peasants in standard militia gear, how they would fare against the knight, and just say they were all slaughtered. Horribly slaughtered. Society of Creating Anachronism. It is an organization in the United States, actually in the world. It's about 20,000 members. It's a non-profit organization for people that are like myself. They're into medieval things. If you want to work on arts and sciences, they have that. If you want to work on armor like myself, you want to work on husbandry, you want to work on archery, you name it, they got it if it's medieval. And the creative part is not being to the T a certain time period. As long as it's pre-17th century attire, you're good, you're golden, right? So you can be a Viking with samurai gear. So it's a lot of fun, though. The most people in the SCA, you'll see that they'll have a coherent theme, what they're going for. I'm a 14th century crusader. Was the Military Order of Christ was after the Templars. Templars ceased to exist early 13th century, and the Military Order of Christ was just basically a rebranding of the Templars in Portugal. Some of the French people fled there as well to avoid death and capture. So that's what the Templars basically did. They just rebranded, what a modern company do. They just rebrand. So the Templars had to rebrand across all of Europe. So, or joined other orders. Pretends to be the police. I don't have anything like that. Antichrist? Well, I certainly hope he's not on this channel. I'm just a humble YouTuber, follower of Christ, that is trying to get the good word out and have a good time participating in medieval combat. Does that make sense? Because it all fits in a homogeneous, uniform thing. A Christian crusader. Perfect, right? Well, I mean, tortured and killed. Yeah. I mean, not all of them. All of them were able to flee, but those that could fled to other areas. Because you're going to stay in a country that wants to kill you and burn you at the stake? I think not. But that's pretty funny. But yeah, my persona in the SCA is Norman. So it's a French fighter. So you see a lot of Norman-inspired things on my kit. I got about, I'm gonna say 10 minutes left in the stream. I gotta end it because the phone only has so much charge. I need to get one of those outdoor battery packs and go for 8 hours plus, but that's a lot of time, energy, and effort to live stream. And I like to do other things throughout the day for my business and for the family. But I'm trying to, or not trying, I am growing this channel and its audience. So I'm making sure I dedicate a slice of time for you guys every Monday. It used to be at Monday nights, but we since had to switch that because we're having to work at night now, just due to family reasons. So the live streams have been, if you guys don't know already, switched to the Monday afternoon. But we'll be every Monday. Currently, I have it Monday at 12:45. So if you guys enjoyed the content so far and look forward to the next one, go ahead and watch out for that one. I have some various other live streams that I sprinkle throughout the week, but nothing consistent currently, just because of either time not allotted I can do things, or equipment, or whatever have you. So the Mondays I can always plan for. It's either going to be indoors or outdoors. Yeah. But yeah, if you're wondering the spiel, I try to make content that I can generate into shorts, but also to give you guys information on the next live stream. If you guys enjoyed the content thus far. And I think we got a good place to the armor. I'm going to be working more on the armor next live stream. We're going to finish that rolled edge. Yeah, a lot of it is mental for sure. I remember when I was in chemotherapy, and I had two paths in front of me: feel sorry for myself, or brave through the storm and try to help others along the way. What that means is do what I can where I can. Because I remember in the hospital, they sent these two little what do they call them, EMTs, because they have to take you to get radiation therapy. I go to radiation therapy, and they'd have EMTs every day come and take me for about a week. And one day they had two EMTs. They were just like 5 foot nothing women, and they didn't give them a powered lift or anything. And right then I had a choice to make: continue feeling sorry for myself or help them. So I decided, with all the strength I could muster, stand up on my own 2 feet and get up on the stretcher for them, rather than them having to try to pick which would be impossible, off from the hospital bed onto that. That's kind of the mindset I've taken over the last 4 years, and I'm always reiterating and fixing and improving, growing, right? You're always learning and growing every day and every week. And what I learned since then is I'm not a good employee. I'm too independent-minded, and I should seek to build something for myself. In my last job, I tried very hard to fit in. I felt like an outcast, felt like my word wasn't taken seriously, and it was just like a spiral thing. So I learned to just work for myself. But yeah, sometimes I falter with my words. So words sometimes escape me because of the chemotherapy. So like the word doesn't always come to mind, but I have the thought in my mind what I'm trying to say, and that's so frustrating. I don't know if you guys ever had that experience where you know what you want to say, but your body is not saying it. And you're like, come on, brain, just work with me just a little bit. Just a little bit. But yeah, I've adopted that mindset into my training as well. Like, I'm not going the path of winning. I'm going the path that's most difficult and arduous to train my body to where it needs to be. So all the workouts, all the pain, all the exercises, that's starting to show real results a year in, right? Because before, I couldn't swing this thing 5 times. Now I can literally hold this thing one-handed, no problem. Right? If you watch my videos from last year, I could not do that. Like, just this by itself, the stick by itself, the halves. 5 swings, and I was out. Now I can bat this thing all day long, right? So it's been quite the fun journey so far. Very interesting too. Yeah, just keep at it. I mean, if it's not perfect, because you know you have to compete only with yourself, not anyone else. Because I've tried competing with other people, because like if you're trying to compete to be the world's richest man, guess what? Elon Musk beat you to it. And before that, another king. So I find it nonsensical to compare myself to other people. I can only compare myself to where I was yesterday, last year, or years prior. So that's about it. So I'm working on speed. So that's one of the things I got to work on. I was watching my last combat video. It feels like I'm coming in pretty slow. I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with these weapons, the training weapons. So I'm going to probably be building a service weapon, so when I go out to practice, I can focus on speed. Working on cardio, I think I can sure work on cardio and speed the next coming year. Because I got a Spartan race coming in, what is it? What month is it? October? The Spartan race. I'm going to be competing in that. And at some point, I got to build a new suit of armor, because look at this. All this weight I lost when I initially built this suit of armor. I can put my arms in it. So I built this chest plate when I was around 350. So it does not fit as good as it once did. But I love this suit so much, I want to keep it. So I think in the next coming videos, work on this back plate, hammer it out some more, and get that connected properly. But yeah, that's where I faltered a lot in my life. I try to compare myself to my friends who it comes naturally to, or who are just naturally more skilled at whatever. Not everyone's skilled at everything. Hey, doggos! I think my neighbors are home. I'm going to cut the live stream off there. It's been about 2 hours. I tried to keep a 2-hour live stream. My dog's about to lose it. So, hope you have a good day and God bless. Dogs, let's go.